It is no secret this year has been unexpectedly bad, but what you may not know is, contrary to popular belief, there are reasons to be optimistic. That comes down to 5 of them: NASA, SpaceX, electric cars, politics, and a vaccine. Here's why all that matters. On July 30th, 2020, Perseverance, NASA's newest Mars rover, launched, carrying with it the tools necessary to search for the traces of ancient microbial life on the Red Planet. And this is the very first mission with the specific goal to do so. And on May 29th, SpaceX's Crew Dragon spacecraft launched on a mission known as Demo 2, carrying NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley to the ISS on the first crewed mission launch from the U.S. since the Space Shuttle program ended in 2011. And it was the first crewed mission as well, carried out by a commercial space company. On August 6th, 2020, the prototype of Starship finally got off the ground successfully, making a 500-foot launch into the air. Meanwhile, NASA has been quietly preparing to go back to the moon with the Artemis program. The Artemis program aims to take astronauts, the next man, and the first woman to the moon by 2024. But this time, to stay. The Space Launch System, the SLS, has been in construction for the past few years now, and through all of this, a constant reminder is shown. Even during times like this, we are not stopping the push of innovation, especially in the exploration of space. Even through this seemingly disastrous year, NASA and SpaceX are showing no signs of slowing their progress of innovation and pushing the bounds of what is possible through science. Alongside the innovations in rocketry in the past few years, electric cars have been increasingly getting better, cheaper, and more competitive. In the past decade, they have gone from an impractical transportation method to something that can compete with gas cars and are almost on par with them, particularly in terms of range and price. From the Tesla Model 3's price dropping by $2,000 recently, to the continued selling of the Nissan Leaf and the Chevy Bolt, as well as the Tesla Model 3 taking the spot as the top selling car in California in the first quarter of 2020. EVs as a whole are selling increasingly well. And while EVs only make up a tiny fraction of the car market thus far, there is a very real possibility their presence on the road could massively increase, if a certain politician has his way, that is. On July 14th, 2020, Joe Biden made a bold and shocking move. He unveiled a clear, ambitious plan to tackle climate change. It would cost $2 trillion over the course of 4 years, his first term. The plan would bring in incentives to help encourage people switch to electric vehicles, and millions of new jobs would be created. And that's not all. 3 major goals of the plan are to make the entire U.S. energy production sector pollution and carbon-free by 2035, to invest in clean energy technologies such as renewables and advanced nuclear, and to build 500,000 new electric charging stations all across the country. That is approximately over double the current amount of gas stations. The plan, as much as it is aimed at tackling climate change, is also one about economic recovery. With millions of new jobs created, Biden's plan may in fact be the exact thing we need to not only have a big shot at tackling climate change, but facilitate an economic recovery following the massive economic damage due to COVID-19. And finally, the COVID-19 vaccine. The race to develop one has been unprecedented. The reason? It's simple. Lives are on the line. Development has been moving at a blistering speed, and a vaccine will come. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But controversy surrounds its development. Claims about politics getting in the way of a potential vaccine, debates over when one will be ready for widespread use and distribution, and concerns over the effectiveness of one if the entire development is rushed, all permeate the race to develop a vaccine for COVID-19. One thing's for certain, though. A vaccine will come in the next few months, or sometime after early next year. The question is, though, when will it be distributed to a majority of the population? From Robert Redfield, director of the CDC, I think there will be a vaccine that will initially be available sometime between November and December, but in very limited supply, and it will have to be prioritized. If you are asking me, when is it going to be generally available to the American public so we can begin to take advantage of a vaccine to get back to our regular life, I think we are probably looking at late second quarter, third quarter 2021. Of course, this doesn't mean things won't open back up until later next year, but according to Redfield, the distribution process will likely begin later this year, which may cause a decline in cases depending on the distribution itself, but the possibility of opening parts of the economy back up, such as schools, depends on a state-by-state basis. Nevertheless, progress is continuing. Obviously, things aren't always certain. The Artemis program could miss its 2024 target, and Joe Biden's plan may not be carried out. Or Perseverance may not make it to Mars, or stop working early on in the mission. Electric cars may not get the big push they need for another few years, or a vaccine for COVID-19 may not be ready by early or the middle of next year. But just as nothing is certain, there is no guarantee some things will not pan out. While it may seem there are no concrete reasons to be cautiously optimistic, or at least less pessimistic than what these times may allow for on the surface, there are reasons to be. Solid ones, in fact. And yeah, some people may feel just because a few big positive things are happening or will happen doesn't justify this particular outlook. But on the flip side, just because all this craziness is happening right now may not justify all the extreme pessimism prevalent right now. And sometimes, reminders like these are needed. Sometimes we need reminders, even in these dark times. Innovation, boldness, advancement, and ambition do not falter. Sometimes we need to be reminded we are the human race. We've accomplished great things before, and have gotten ourselves out of dark times, and we will do both again. We're on the road of innovation, ambition, and progress. Those innovations, that ambition, and that progress is still coming. There are times and situations like this where it seems we've gone in a different direction, but really, we are just still getting to our destination. It just might mean it will take a bit longer to get there. We got through the 2008 recession, and back in the 1930s, we got through the Great Depression. We will get through this too.